Hey guys, it's Charlie, and today I want to talk about being vegan and having a social life. For those of you who watch my videos know I'm a vegetarian. I've been a vegetarian since 2001. It's 2012, so I've been a vegetarian for 11 years. It's natural to me. It's something that I feel is normal. It's been like almost half my life. So I've actually been doing a raw food vegan challenge. Today is day 16, so I'm at the halfway mark, starting the last half of the 30-day raw food vegan challenge. This is being held by Freely, and I was inspired today to talk about veganism, raw veganism, and a social life. It can actually be very difficult to maintain your social life as a raw food vegan. I have been able to maintain a decent social life as a vegetarian, but the last 15, 16 days, I've been doing the raw foods. So, I've been doing the raw foods. And so, why does everything I say turn out? Okay, so, I lost what I was going to say. It can be difficult to maintain a social life as a raw food vegan because it's completely opposite of what socially is the norm. And so I've been invited out to dinner by men a lot, and it's been kind of hard for me to, not hard, but a challenge for me to try and accept her offer, but kind of change the setting. For example, the other day she invited me to have naengmyeon, and I love naengmyeon. For those of you who don't know, naengmyeon, Korean noodle. It's a cold soup, noodle soup type thing, and it's delicious. It took me a little while to get used to when I was in Korea because I had never had like a cold noodle soup, and but it's really good. Then today she sent me a text and she's like, hey, I want to invite you out for popping sue. And I was like, for those of you who don't know, popping sue is a Korean treat. It's like shaved ice with red bean, fruit, and sometimes they put like cereal on top of it, like cornflakes or something. And then, yeah, it's really delicious. But as a vegetarian, I would naturally eat, I would say, yeah, for sure, let's go have popping sue. But now I had to decline her offer. So today I want to give you some advice on how to maintain a social life while being vegan. This can also apply to vegetarianism, or even if you have a special diet. I don't have a goal of staying 100% raw vegan after the challenge. My goal is not to be a vegan. It is for sure to incorporate more raw foods, more fruits and vegetables into my vegetarian diet. But as a traveler and a nomad and a person who likes to learn about cultures and incorporate or integrate myself, immerse myself into a culture, I'm not trying to be 100% raw because while I don't eat the meat dishes of other cultures or other countries, I do like to try the vegetarian dishes that they have to offer. So veganism is not 100% is not my goal. But one thing that you can do when you're invited out is to actually try and invite the person out before they invite you. This can be difficult because you never know when someone's going to invite you somewhere. But if you do have a main set of friends, try and invite them out to do something. In our society, food is the center of everything, pretty much. We eat all the time. I eat all the time. But years ago, people sat around the fire and roasted food and talked, told stories, shared their life with other people. It is normal, that is the norm, to be social with food. And so one thing you can do is invite people out before they do. What I could have done is past weekend, I could have texted her, hey, next week, let's go out for some fruit and juice or something. That way, when it's time to hang out, we'll go out for some fruit and juice. A few weeks ago, actually, we had fruit and juice, and before we ate, she was like, are we going to be hungry after this? And I was like, no, actually you won't. It fills you up pretty well. And so we had fruit and juice, and after she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so full. And I was like, yeah. And so it's kind of cool to introduce people to raw foods. And it's not that you're trying to convert them, it's that you're just trying to introduce them to, hey, this is my lifestyle. If you want to see what it's like, this is it. And so inviting people out before they do. And then the next thing is, the reason why you want to do that is because you have more control over what you're doing than if they had invited you out. For example, I could have invited her out first and had suggestions on what we could do. You don't have to always center things around food. I could have easily invited her out to go for a walk in the park, to sit at the park and talk, or something like that. It doesn't always have to be centered around food. We could have gone to the movies, snuck in some fruit. And so you can always find a way around the food thing. Another thing is being prepared. When you're prepared, it saves a lot of frustration, because a lot of people get really worried about what you're going to eat. And that, to me, is one of the biggest challenges of not even being vegan, but being vegetarian. As a vegetarian, when you go to a restaurant and there's nothing for you to eat, the worst thing isn't not having anything to eat. The worst feeling is everyone at the table worried about what you're going to eat, or that there's no food for you to eat. That is the worst feeling, of them being like, oh, I'm so sorry. And they're eating, and oh, what are you going to eat? I'm sorry, I didn't know that they didn't have anything here. And for me, I'm just like, eat. Like, don't worry about me, I'm fine. But being prepared is one of the biggest tips that I could give you. It's been one of the things that I've learned of my years being vegetarian, is to be prepared. Whether that's have fruit on hand that's already cut up in a little Tupperware thing, have salad cut up with some vegetables, some cucumber, some tomatoes, and or have a juice on hand where you can say, like, if you're in a situation where there's nothing to eat at the restaurant, you say, no, it's fine. You guys order, I have something here, so don't worry about me. And by doing that, they can order, they get their food, you guys are eating together. And they're not worried, oh, you don't have anything to eat. I'm telling you, that's the worst situation for me, at least. I hate when people are worried about what I'm going to eat or that I'm not eating. I'm an adult. I can figure it out myself. And so another thing is being kind-hearted. This can be very important in order to maintain a social life, because many people think about vegans and vegetarians as being preachy, and some are. I personally am not preachy. I believe this is the lifestyle that I chose. The lifestyle that you chose is what you chose. And so I'm not going to preach to you about how you killed an animal or the person killed an animal, so you should be ashamed of yourselves. This is the lifestyle that you chose, and this is the current situation of the world where we live in, and I'm not going to condemn you for eating meat. I think that being kind-hearted is what has maintained my social life. I let people know, because this is at least my personal opinion, I don't care if you eat meat. Honestly, like, as long as you're not shoving it down my throat, I'm completely fine. Do I feel sorry for the animals? Yes. But things die in order for us to survive. Things have to die in order for us to sustain our lives. So whether it's a plant dying or an animal dying, something is dying for me to live, for you to live, and whatever lifestyle you chose is what you chose. And I'm not going to preach to you about how you should live a healthier lifestyle. You're an adult. If you want advice, I'll give you advice. But being kind-hearted and letting people know, like, no, this is the lifestyle I chose. You chose to eat meat, and I chose to eat vegetables and fruits and tortillas in 15 days. Yeah. Being kind-hearted has been something that has really been really interesting, because a lot of people are like, wow, you're not like one of those preachy vegetarians. Like, you don't even mind that I'm eating meat in front of you? And I'm like, no. And actually, that has more of an impact on preachy vegetarians, because they see that I'm just living my life. And by living as an example and not preaching to people, you get more of your message across that you can survive without meat. And so being kind-hearted and letting people go on their path, because, you know, maybe by being a kind-hearted vegetarian, they'll remember that later. Maybe they'll come across a vegetarian that's preachy and be like, you know, you don't have to be all preachy. I met a really kind vegetarian that really impacted me more than you are as a preaching vegetarian. So those are my tips on how to maintain your social life, how to keep your friends, and how to stay a vegetarian or vegan in a society where meat is the main focus. So remember to be prepared. What was the other one? Invite your friends out before they invite you. That way you have more of a choice in what you're doing, where you're going. You don't always have to be centered around food. Offer to go on a walk, go to the movies, sit and talk. You don't have to be eating anything all the time. Another thing is be kind-hearted. Remember that everyone is on their own specific journey. Maybe they'll eventually come around to veganism or vegetarian, and maybe they won't. But each person has their own journey that they're going through, and the most important thing that you can do is live your own life peacefully, and maybe by being a good example, they will see that you can be a kind vegetarian and survive and have enough protein without having to eat meat. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope these tips helped you. If they did help you, please comment below and I'll give you more tips on how to stay vegetarian, how to maintain your social life, and yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye.